Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first webinar in Navigating Residencies project of PRASHA. This is edition 1, PLAB. I am Paridhi Jain, co-founder and program director in PRASHA. And let's just start the webinar while I'll just let other people in. So for today's webinar, we have Dr. Akatya Vidushi Sinha with us. I just want to thank her for sharing her knowledge and experience with us. Welcome, Dr. Akatya, forwarding it to you.
Thank you so much, Paridhi, for having me. And hello to everybody. It's so nice meeting you all and sharing something about PLAP with everybody. And I'm sure that everybody's really excited and looking forward to the journey as well. So I'm happy to be here to sharing my experience with all of you. So shall we begin, Paridhi?
Yes, I think we can start while others are joining.
Yeah, sure. So you just have to like share the screen.
Yes, I'm doing that.
Yeah. Also, meanwhile, if anybody has any questions, please put it in the question box below. So I'll just answer them at the end of the session, and I've tried to incorporate most of the questions in my slides. So I hope I can cover most of them during my presentation. If not, I'm happy to answer all of them at the end of the session.
Okay, so you guys can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we can start.
Can you put the first slide?
Uh, is it visible? I have.
Yeah, but it's not the first slide. It's actually the uh, fourth or the fifth slide.
Okay, just give me a
Yeah.
minute.
Just start from the beginning, no?
Is it fine now?
No.
Okay, let me just do it again. Okay, now is it okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Paridhi. Just one more. Just can you go one side behind? Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
So yeah, let's begin. So as we know that today we're talking about the PLAB pathway, and it's a very big journey, and it incorporates a lot of things during from the start till the end. So I'm trying to make this presentation very concise and very to the point, so it helps you all and it doesn't gets you more confused because sometimes when people talk about pathways, it might get a little confusing and how to navigate your path. So I'm here to just make it very simplified and to the point so you know how exactly to reach your goal. So let's begin. Um, the PLAB pathway. So can we move to the next slide, Paridhi, please? Thank you. So, PLAB. So, PLAB stands for the Professional and Linguistic Assessments Board exam. So, it consists of two parts, part one and part two. So, this exam is basically a licensing exam. So, if you pass the steps, you are eligible and licensed to practice as a medical professional in the UK. It does not mean that it's confirming that you are going to get a job once you pass the exams, but that you are eligible and now you are certified and you have the license to work here. Now, what happens is, so first, you have two parts. You have part one and part two, which I will be talking in detail in a few minutes later. Next slide, please. Yes. So first, we need to make a GMC account. So to establish that you are an individual and you want to take on this path, you need to make an identity documented somewhere. So that's your GMC account that will have all your details, your professional details, your academic details from where you have graduated, your English requirements are going to be uploaded there, and all your bookings for your PLAB 1, your PLAB 2, and your GMC registration, everything is going to be done on the GMC account. Now, the first step is to make the account. Now, once you make the account and you put in all your details, you are eligible to book your PLAB 1. Then you go ahead, you book your PLAB 1, you sit for the exam, you pass the exam, and then you give your PLAB 2. Once you pass your PLAB 2, you are then all set, and then you finally register and apply for the GMC registration. Next slide, please. Now, what is all needed for the GMC account? There are a lot of YouTube videos out there, a lot of guides, and GMC, General Medical Council, so GMC stands for General Medical Council, itself provides a lot of detailed information on how to go about all of these steps. So you don't need to be worried, or you don't need to be hassled in finding various resources how to go about all of these processes. You can just directly go to the GMC website, search your whichever step you are, whether you want to make a GMC account or you want to know more information about lab or anything, you can just directly go to the GMC website. And that's a reliable source and the most certified source. So I would recommend going to the GMC website for any queries or um, any problem or anything that you're facing. So for the GMC account, you will need your personal details, your academic details that includes your primary medical qualification. The primary medical qualification is basically that the day you passed your final year. So the eligibility for giving PLAB 1 is going to be that you need to pass PLAB your final year. You cannot apply for this exam before your final year because they ask for the day you have passed your final exam. So that date is your PMQ, that's your primary medical qualification, and a valid IELTS. So IELTS is basically an English exam. Um, it's an English language exam, and you can either give IELTS or you can give OET, that's occupational test, occupational English test, that's also valid. And so either the IELTS or either the OET you can give, and you can then apply for the exam. But you need to pass the English exam before you sit for the PLAB 1 exam. Next slide, please. So, yeah, so what do we need for the PLAB 1 checklist? So GMC, so once you made your GMC account, what do you need for so to be eligible for the PLAB 1 exam? I know that so many people, they make their GMC, but not everybody is eligible because you need to have your English exam sorted. So you need to have an adequate amount of required bands in IELTS, that's 7 band in each and 7.5 overall, and required OET scores. I think that's I personally gave IELTS because I think OET is easier, but apparently what everybody says, OET is easier, but it's a little bit costly. So if you want to give OET, make sure that you are very well prepared and you have enough time in your hand to sit for the exam. While IELTS, I believe that we have all studied English since our childhood, since our first day of, primary school. So I was more comfortable with IELTS. So, but it absolutely depends on person to person how you want to go about things. So, yes. So yeah, so either IELTS or OET, you can give either one of them. Now, PLAB or UKMLA. Now, this is the new recent advancement which has come, and PLAB is getting replaced by UKMLA. Now, the name is still not getting changed. It's the same. It's PLAB. But as GMC, so this in my slide, I have just copy pasted exactly word to word what is given on the GMC website. So it's basically that PLAB 1, all the tests from 8th August 2024 will be based on the MLA content map. And for PLAB 2, starting from 17th May 2024 will be based on the MLA content. And MLA content will test knowledge, skills, and behavioral aspects needed for the UK practice. Now, as per the GMC website, nothing is changing. Only it's just that it is getting replaced with the UK MLA content, and most of the ideologies and the content remains the same as PLAB. So it's just that they are just transitioning into this new phase. And don't worry, you will be adequately supplied with the relevant material and the relevant information that is required for both PLAB 1 and PLAB 2. So that is not a worry, and it's just a transitioning exam. They are just moving from PLAB to UKMLA. The name stays the same, and the difficulty level, the testing of the knowledge, and everything remains the same. Next slide, please. So starting with PLAB 1. Now, PLAB 1 is basically a written exam. So you will be given an like a paper and a pen, and you have to, it's an MCQ, multiple choice question, where you will have 4 to 5 options, and you have to you have to take one answer, one correct answer. You have 180 minutes, and 180 minutes, you have to finish 180 questions. So in this exam, the most important part is the time management. So if you're able to manage your time adequately, you are all set. You just need to be very vigilant while you're writing this exam, and you need to you need to be really on there and keep all your concentration towards the paper, and not spend more than 30 seconds on a question, because you just have 1 minute for one answer, and I'm sure that some few of the questions could be tricky, so you need more time to think in in those questions. So it's better that you spend not less than 30 seconds. And I know it must be sounding a little scary right now, but with practice you will get that. So there is no negative marking, so make sure you attempt all the questions. And uh, yes, it's just 180 questions in 180 minutes. Next slide, please. So, how much time is required for this exam for PLAB 1? So, for PLAB 1, ideally it is, they say that it's 3 to 6 months. I personally took 3 months to prepare. My exam was in August 2023, so I am just giving you very fresh information. So I started my preparation in May, and May, June, July, 3 months I have prepared. But I prepared around 4 to 5 hours every day, and the last month I increased my time for with around 7 to 8 hours of prep. So yes. If you give if you're not having any work commitments, then I think 3 to 4 months is more than enough. But if you are busy with any work, or if you're giving it during your internship, then I think it's ideally advisable that you give at least 4 to 5 months, or maximum 6 months. Because why 6 months? Because you need to revise it again and again, because as it is an MCQ exam, and you need to finish 180 questions in 180 minutes. So you need to know everything on the tip of your tongue. So you need to know everything bang on. So that is why you need to keep revising again and again and again. So that is why you need to have multiple revision slots. So for that, you need to have enough time in your hand. So it's better to start early. But if you can give more time in a day, then I think 3 to 4 months will be sufficient. Now, what are the subjects? So it's basically basic subjects right from your first year to your final year subjects, right from anatomy to your emergency medicine and surgery medicine and gastroenterology, and your third year and your second year subjects. So yes, so these you can just have a look that these are the subjects which are going to be tested. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, resources. Now, so when I started preparing for PLAB 1, I did have a really tough time deciding which resource should I really bank upon and should really understand and would really help me and benefit me. So, so my seniors, and it's always good to ask around and attend webinars like these to understand everybody's perception. But at the end of the day, I believe and I strongly advise that you should listen to what works best for you. Because at the end of the day, they are not going to study for you. You have to study on your own. So make sure that you understand your study style and then decide at the end what to choose. To make the best decision, I would suggest you first understand what kind of this resource it is. Is it a question bank? Is it notes or what is it? And then according to your study style, you choose the respective resource. So for example, the Plavable and the GEM. So Plavable is a question bank. It consists of notes. Notes comes in forms of gems. So you will have notes on every subject, and it has extensive amount of questions in the question bank with appropriate explanation to every question, and also revision guides where detailed information is given on every topic, and a lot of marks, around 15 to 18 marks are there, and they also provide you with big mocks. Now, big mocks are very beneficial for medical for aspirants who are studying for PLAB 1 because it helps you understand where you stand in your whole preparation. So I think Flammable is the most important resource that you need to inculcate in your preparation. And I think you can make it as your Bible use, and you can make it the main resource to study. So I think is that what I use? So I use Flammable as my main resource and my main go-to thing when I was preparing for my exam. Now, Plab keys, I believe that it's the most wonderful notes accumulated in one place. So it just has, so it doesn't have questions, it's just notes. So you will have notes on every topic, but very detailed notes. Now, the difference between Plab keys and gems is that gems is very to the point. It's very good if you go through Plab keys first and then you go to gems and just for revision purpose, but you make your main basic fundamental, making your fundamentals strong through PLAB keys, because PLAB keys will have all the information. So it will give you, for example, if you're doing one topic, it will give you how it started, why is it happening, and basically if you're studying, for example, myocardial infarction, so it will give you the physiology part, then it will give you the symptoms, signs, what tests you do, how do you confirm a chest pain, how do you confirm an MI, what markers you need to order for MI, and then how do you treat the angina and the MI. So everything is given systematically in Plapkis, while in GEMS, it's giving very to the point, very point wise and with flow charts and everything. So I would suggest that you start with Plapkis, give a read to the whole Plapkis once, and then you go to the GEMS and for revision purposes. Now, what is med? Sorry. So what is med revisions? Med revisions is another question bank, but this is very extensive. So when I was going through med revisions, it had a lot of information, like literally a lot of information. And when I saw, I got a little intimidated because I thought that how am I able to complete this in 3 months? But fortunately, I did not choose med revisions. I only used med revisions in the areas where I felt that I was a little weak with my basics were not very brushed. So, for example, I used it for such certain neurological topics. So, because they have really advanced and very detailed stuff, which I later realized after I gave the exam that wasn't needed really. Like I was, Plavable is all what you need for the exam. So, but if you want to just enhance your knowledge to have, the most detailed information that you want, you can opt for med revisions. But if you're doing med revisions, then I would just advise you to not do the Plavable exhaustively, just do the question banks of Plavable because it's the same information. It's just that med revisions has given more in detail. But if you're taking med revisions, make sure that you have more time in your hand. Around 6 months should be in your hand if you're taking med revisions. Now, these are the question banks, the most high yield question banks. But what matters at the end of the day is your plan, your routine, how you utilize your time. If you're studying 10 hours a day, but at the end of the day, you finish only one chapter, it doesn't make sense. But if you're sitting only 4 hours a day and you're able to finish three chapters, quality study is better than quantity study. So you need to make sure that you're trying to finish most of the stuff in limited time, and in whatever little time you're sitting, make sure that you're utilizing every minute honestly. And at the end of the day, the most important thing which matters for this exam is mocks. So make sure you're giving multiple tests, like give as many tests as you can, because that will help you in two things. Number one, your time management. It will help you finish the questions fast and make you ready for the real exam. And number two, it will help you make you learn from your mistakes. So the more mistakes you make, the more you'll get better. And I'm talking with real experience because I realized that once I started giving mocks, I started realizing that, okay, I'm making these mistakes and I should work on these subjects because those are your weak areas, because you can't remember that at the end. Like, when you have 30 seconds, 1 minute to think, you can't think because you have less time in your hand. So once you brush up those topics, you see that, okay, now I am not making mistakes and I'm finishing questions faster. So that is why how mistakes help you. So if you're making mistakes, don't get disheartened. It's just that it will only help you get your scores higher and make and manage your time. Next slide, please. PLAB 2. Now, PLAB 2 is basically an OSCE exam. It tests your fundamental knowledge of a junior doctor. It's a very basic exam. It's on the junior level as a junior doctor, how you work in hospital. So it just takes your, it just tests your knowledge as a FY2. That's Foundation Year Doctor 2. So it's an OSCE exam, and you have to basically, in this exam, you have to talk. You are tested on your communication skills, you are tested on your management skills, how you make the diagnosis, your history taking, basically those vivas we had in our final year exam. So uh, uh, in our final year exam. So that is basically what PLAB 2 is all about. Next slide, please. Now, what do you need for PLAB 2? Now, PLAB 2 again, so the difference between PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 is that PLAB 1 you can give in any part of the world. You can sit in your home country and give it there. But for PLAB 2, you have to come to the UK for to give the exam because it's only held in Manchester, and you need to have passed PLAB 1, and you need to have UK PLAB visa. That it's basically tourist visa, but you have to apply for the PLAB visa, and you can have you should and you need to have an accommodation. So all of these things would you just have to check on your list for coming to the UK for PLAB 2. And for PLAB 2, again, 2 to 3 months more than enough to practice. Academy. So for PLAB 2, it's not courses, but it's academy. So you have to go there. You have to take online and offline courses. So you can take online courses back home, and when you come to the UK, you can take the offline classes. And then you can attend these academies. You can practice on the mannequins and simulations and all of that. Yeah, so these are the few academies that you can attend. and I believe all academies are the same. They all teach you the same thing. It's just how you approach and make your individual approach in making your history taking and your consultations different from others. It's your personal style. It's just that the academy is going to give you an approach, going to give you a direction. You have to utilize that direction. Next slide, please. Yeah, so that was all about PLAB pathway. Any questions?
Hello, Dr. Katya. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yes, I can.
Uh, it was an amazing presentation.
Thank you.
Can you please let us know about the UK healthcare system? Because I don't know, but from what I've read and from what I've researched, but if they are the misconceptions, but the thing is that it's not a very positive thing that I've heard about it. So can you throw some light on it?
Sure. Thank you for your question. Even I have heard a lot of mixed reviews on saying that the UK health system is getting saturated and there's not much job availabilities and all of that. But I also believe that there is good and bad to every side. Wherever you go, there is going to be some certain bad things and certain good things. Um, After coming to the UK, I believe that it really depends on your situation and where you go, because if you are willing to, learn, and if you're willing to work hard, then I think doors do open. And people are very welcoming to see hardworking and interested candidates, because I also know certain people who have just taken things very lightly. They think that, okay, coming to the UK is okay, and yeah. So it also depends upon you. People are really welcoming here. They love seeing interested and hardworking candidates, as I said. And I know a lot of people who have landed jobs within 1 or 2 months of passing labs. And I also know people who have been struggling to find a job. So it really depends on how you mark your journey and how you plan things for you. So it's better to keep everything planned beforehand. But yeah, it depends on a lot of things, but I definitely feel that people are welcoming here and they're very happy to have hardworking and interested candidates. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uh, Dr. Akatya, we have few questions in the chat box. If you can just go through them.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'll start from the first one by Julfa. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name properly. I would like to know about the UK FPO pathway. So they do have FY1 and FY2 applications every year. They do have um, their respective requirements. As for FY1 and FY2, so I'm not really sure about FY1, but you can definitely check it on the website. For FY2, you need to have your English language um, valid, and you just have to apply you have to apply with your degree, your English language, and once all your documents are valid, they will then shortlist you for an exam known as SJTs, that's situational judgmental tests. And it basically marks you on all ethical principles, consists of MCQs, and it's a MCQ exam, so you need to pass that. And once you pass that, you will then be invited for an interview. And once you clear the interview, you will be then enrolled for the pathway. If you're studying MBBS in another country, can you give PLABs directly after the degree, or do I have to give next first? Um, I think you can give the PLABs directly if your medical school is verified, and you can check that on the GMC website because they do have the list of colleges that is accepted by the GMC. So you can just go. So you know what? I believe that for any of your information, if you want reliable source, you should directly go to the GMC website, and they do have questions to all your answers. So if you go to the GMC website and you check that if is my medical school eligible, you will have this entire box where you can add your medical school name, and if you find you can find that if your medical school is valid. Would you recommend students to finish housemanship first and then go for PLABs, or at the moment they finish their university final right away plan to go to PLABs? So, you can do the PLABs once you finish your final year. So you are not eligible to apply for PLABs until and unless you pass your final year exam. So, and I know a lot of medical students who give their PLAB one in during their internship. I gave my PLAB one just after, like I finished my internship in April and I gave my exam in August. I myself wanted to give after my internship because my last few months of internship were really hectic. I had medicine and emergency medicine, so I knew for a fact that I would not be able to manage my studies with the rigorous postings that we know how medical internship is. So, and also saying that the exam is really difficult, and if you do not pass it in the first time, you have to wait another year because the waiting period is a long time. So I do not want to take chances, and that is why I did give around 2 to 3 months of gap after my internship. So, but during internship, I know a lot of my friends and a lot of my colleagues gave it during the internship. So, if you think that you have relatively easier postings, which you can take at least 4 to 5 hours out of your internship and prepare for the exam, then you can definitely go and give it a shot during your internship. But unfortunately, you're not eligible until and unless you pass your final year because they need your primary medical qualification when you're making your GMC account. Will it be good to join UKFBO directly if I want to skip internship and go back to my home country? Uh, Unfortunately, I'm not very sure about the UKFPO pathway. I'm sorry if I can't help you in that aspect, but I believe that you cannot do that. I think you have to. So once you enroll in the UKFPO pathway, you have to continue, and you cannot um, come back to the home country. Like you are like in the middle, I suppose. I'm not very sure. I will get back on to you on that. Definitely. What is the salary structure for starters? I haven't started working, but once I do, I will give you a clear picture and an honest answer on that. Because right now, if you ask anybody on the salary structure, it really depends and it varies from person to person, and it also depends on where you're working. For example, if you're working in London, Manchester, Liverpool, or any countryside, so it really depends. The salary structure varies, but yeah, it is a decent amount and a good pay to start working with. What is the timeline like from giving PLAB to getting into residency? Okay, so as I said, this PLAB exam is not a residency exam. It's just a licensing exam. So if you pass the exam and you get GMC registered, you are just eligible and you have the license that, okay, fine, you are a doctor, you can practice in the UK. Now, where you can practice, you have to again give an exam. So after you give your GMC and your GMC registered, you have to start applying for jobs. Now, once you start applying for jobs, you have to, and you land up a job, you have to work for a few months. And there's a form known as CREST. You have to get your CREST form signed, where at least with 3 to 4 months of experience and working in the NHS, that's working in the UK, work for 3 to 4 months, get your CREST signed, and after that, you apply for training positions. So it's a long way. You don't get directly a residency after your your GMC registration. You have to, for example, if you're applying for medical training or surgery training, you have to give an exam. Now they have introduced this new exam called MSRA. You have to sit for the exam. Once you get shortlisted, then you are called for an interview, and that's how it works. So approximately, so the entire PLAB pathway, if you've passed all exams in first attempt and uh, it takes about 1 year. Then, depending upon how quickly you land a job, that you can say average time is 3 to 6 months. So until you get into residency, from starting from lab one to getting your residency, I think um, average time should be around 2 years, 2.5 years maximum. But as I said, it depends from person to person. Some get it earlier, some get it later. So it absolutely depends on a person's journey. Can you share us what inspired to choose UK? Absolutely, Nandini. Thank you for your question. So I want to do surgery, and I absolutely believe and resonate with the UK principle of work-life balance. And I believe that if I would have worked in India, I would not have been the and especially I wanted surgery. So I believe that getting surgery in the UK is difficult, but it's not impossible. And if you work hard and if you are very dedicated to what you're doing, you are and you can get what you want. So, which is why that is what motivated me to apply and come here and apply for the surgical training. And yeah, I'm still working towards it. And one of the most thing what motivated me was the work-life balance. They really respect your work hours. They respect your mental health. They respect all of it. So that's a good thing. And yes, so that is what is good here. Thank you so much, Nandini, and I wish you the same. How long does the residency last on average after FY2? Okay, so residency timeline is a big timeline. So it takes around 6 to 8 years till you become a consultant. Now that again depends upon uh, like it depends upon specialties to specialty. So for example, surgery takes around 8 years, radiology takes around 6 years, medicine again takes around I think 6 to 7 years. So it really depends upon specialty, but I think average time from FY2 getting into training and then becoming a consultant should be not I think it's not anything less than 8 years. What are some of the challenges you face in the residency? So as I said that I've not yet entered residency, so I can't give you first-hand information. So, but I think the challenges that you face in residency are pretty much same where you face in anywhere in the world. But however, especially here, maybe it would be moving into a new place, working in a new environment, because once you're back in India, you're back home, you eventually you worked in that particular environment, you know how the Indian medical system works. While coming here, you're not really aware of how the system works, so does take time to get comfortable and get blend in with the whole system. So that I think that could be a few challenges that residents would be facing. But I'm sure people are very welcoming and very helpful with and help you in overcoming and um, overcoming those challenges. So I finished my MBBS from India, and for my postgraduate studies, I you don't basically in the UK, it is not that you apply for a university. So once you get licensed to work in the UK, you then apply to the hospitals. So it works like that here. So you don't apply for to the like to the college, universities, but you apply to the hospital. So you're working and you are also studying at the same time. So it's you're applying to hospitals and you're not applying to colleges. Any other questions? How much does all of this cost? Okay. So your PLAB one is around 255 pounds, and your PLAB two is around 906 pounds, and your GMC registration is I think around 442 pounds. So yes, and yeah, and then your IELTS is 25,000 INR. So I think your whole journey, if you complete it in a go, I think should not be more than around 2.5 lakhs. Is there any list of for all the documentation which has to be done before the start, like from GMC registration? Uh, Shashwat, I'm not really understanding your question. Can you please elaborate? Yes, so you need to have a set of certifications for this exam. So not much. It's just that you need to have your English certificates, that's your IELTS or your OET, and then you need to verify your medical degree. That's EPIC verification. That's a separate information altogether. So it's basically that you apply to the ECFMG and they will verify they send your degree to your medical college. They verify your degree and they send it to GMC to send a proof and documented that okay you have legit graduation certificate and we have verified it on a more secure level. So that's one certification you need, and the other is I think your English language. And yes, I don't think you need any other certifications apart from these two. And yes, of course, you need your good standing from your state government where you have been doing your medical school. But as I said, that you don't need epic verification at the start. You can do that after you after you pass PLAB 2. So you don't need it like at the start. So at the start of when you're starting your GMC registration process, what you need at the beginning is your IELTS certificate. That's it. I mean your English language certificate, whether IELTS or OET, nothing else. Your EPIC you can do later on during your after you pass PLAB 2, because that we need only for GMC registration. I mean your GMC registration at the end, and also your good standing is also required at the end. Do we need to have a CV? If yes, what are some good? Okay, yes, you absolutely do need a very good CV. Um, now this is also like a big webinar on its own. So you need a lot of presentations, work on a lot of researches. So if I always tell medical students and whoever reach out to me that make think smart. Um, it's all about thinking smart, because if you do one research, you can get so many things out of that research. You can present that research paper, you can get presentations out of it. If you publish that same research paper, you'll get publications out of it. So you can get so many things out of that one research paper. So one just don't try and work just don't try and work in all the scattered areas. Just work in one place and make sure that you're doing that right, so you can get so many things out of that. So one is research, presentations, publications. Try and getting audits done, because in the UK they value audits a lot. Get your audits, present at your hospital, at your local monthly meetings. Try and getting leadership positions in organizations. They really like people who have had managerial roles. So that and yes, and do enroll yourself in courses like basic life support, basic surgical skills courses. They really like that the medical student is not just focused, not just having only these academic qualifications, but also is enrolled in other quality courses, like all of that. So these are a few chunks that you can work on yourself. Can you mention something about CREST certificate? Can you tell more about that? I don't think you need to worry about the CREST right now, because even I'm not I'm not worrying about CREST right now, because that's after you land a job and you're applying for your training. So it's basically like a form where all your competencies are listed, and the consultant who is going to be supervising you will be signing off that CREST, that okay, I confirm that this candidate has checked in all the competencies, and I sign that he's eligible and he has checked in all the competencies, and that is it. You just need that form to get your competencies signed, that you're a good doctor, and then you can apply for training. Can we find scholarships to start our PLAB journeys? If yes, name of the so scholarships. Not directly related to the PLAB journey. Like, I don't think there is any scholarship that will aid your PLAB journey, but you can definitely apply for scholarships that can give you certain funding for your academic journey, and which you can use for, sorry, which you can use for any pathway that you choose, whether it's USMLE or PLAB. So one of them, which I know, is Metropolis. They do keep organizing these scholarship programs where they help and provide medical students and doctors with good scholarship opportunities, which definitely can help you. So you can definitely check that out. When is the right time to start preparing for the PLAB or for the exam oriented study from PRAB materials? So, as I said, 3 to 6 months is more than enough. Because if you give more time than that, you'll start getting saturated, and you will not, and then you will just get bored of the whole thing. So I think a focused 3 to 6 months of preparation is more than enough. Is it possible to apply for internship as a junior resident doctor, and what is the procedure? Apply. What do you mean by the question? Can you please explain that to me? Apply for internship in India or in the UK? Kindly spell out the name of the scholarship program. Yes, I will just write it in the chat box. Internship in UK as a junior resident doctor. You can junior resident doctor. So there's nothing like that. It's just that once you start applying for jobs after GMC registration, you work as a foundation year doctor. Um, so you have to apply. You have to the FY2. You have to work as a junior doctor, as an FY2 for a year before you before you go into residency. So that FY2 foundation year two that is equivalent to your so FY1 is equivalent to the internship you did back in your home country. FY2 is basically another year of internship that is mandatory in UK that because to understand it's not so it's basically to understand how the NHS system works.
Okay, I think we can conclude the session since oh okay, we have one more question.
So it's not possible to apply to both FY1 and FY2 in UK. No, you can. You can apply to FY1 and FY2, but you can't apply to both of them simultaneously. You either apply to FY1 or FY2. But mostly you usually start from FY2 because you've already done FY1 in India. So you would not want to go through the same thing. I mean, not in, I mean, wherever you are in your back in your home country or internship. So you don't want to repeat the same thing again. So mostly what usually people do is they start their UK journey with FY2. As I said that I'm not very well versed with the UKFPO pathway. So I think you can check it on their website. It's pretty much given very much in detail on their website. So you can just check it there. And yeah, I'm sure you'll get all your answers on the website.
Okay, I think uh, can we take this last question, Dr. Akatya, or it's
Yeah, no worries. So, um, there's nothing. If is it advantages or not advantages? But yes, the application success rate is more with FY1 than FY2 because what I read recently was that FY1 intakes are more accepted than FY2. I mean, the competition ratio is more for FY2 than for FY1. So it so if you want to ease, so yeah, I mean, if you want to give it a try, you can definitely give it a try. But comparing back with your home country or to the UK, I think it's the same thing. It's normal internship. It's almost going to be the same. What you do in your back home country, you have to do the same when you come here in your FY2. So basically here they do 2 years of internship. That's FY1 and FY2. Back in your home country, you're just doing it for 1 year. So it's just that's the difference. No worries.
okay? So I think we'll sum up the webinar here. Thank you so much, Dr. Sinha, for your time. It was an amazing experience, and I hope we have learned a lot from all of those things. Uh, those who have any extra question, you can just text Dr. Katya on her Instagram.
Yes, please do get in touch with me on Instagram, and I will help to answer most of your questions. And I do keep posting more about, about my journey during the whole Black pathway. And if any information that I come across, I would love to share in any, how to build your CV and how to advance in your career. I would be more than happy to help all of you in the best capacity I can because I love helping medical students who are passionate and who want to uh, get what they want and they're very passionate in their journey. So I would love to help all of you and just I would just address the last Mariama's question. I'm really sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Does medical electives in the UK boast chances to get residency? So medical electives in the UK, so it's not electives, it's called observerships and clinical attachments. So the difference is that before a lot of people did not know about this, and a few people who did were given a lot of uh, they were recommended more than those who did not. Now, when everybody knows that okay, there's something in a clinical attachment, so literally everyone is doing that. So now the thing is that if you don't have it on your CV, it's something bad. But if you have it, then it's okay. I mean, it's something that you should have. So it just shows that you have certain experience of the NHS system and you know how the system works. So you definitely will be chosen and preferred over other candidates who do not have the NHS experience. So if you are getting observerships and clinical attachments, I definitely and strongly recommend you to have to get it done. And if not your residency, it definitely do have certain contributions towards getting your first job. And yes, that is my Instagram handle. Thank you for sharing. So please feel free to get in touch with me, and I will be more than happy to help all of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sinha. It means a lot.
Thank you so much, Paridhi and Priyanjali, for having me. And it was a great experience. And I love talking to all of you. And I'm sure that you all will do great. And all my best wishes to everybody And as I said that I will be always there to help you. And if you ever need me in any part of your journey, I'll be more than happy to help you in any capacity I can. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akatya.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.